who joined.
Hi, Bino.
Hi, uh,
Hello,
Ramyaji.
everyone. Welcome to Hindu Center of Atlanta's weekly spiritual learning. Today, we are joined with Acharya Brahmadev ji. Acharya ji is delivering a lecture on a series Practical Application of Yoga in Daily Life. Acharya Brahmadev ji has had an inclusive educational background in science, banking from University of Mauritius, management, and Darshanacharya, Vedic philosophy, Darshan Yoga Mahavidyalaya, Gujarat, India, and a diverse career in financial services, industry, and at Aryasabha Mauritius. He has been a key resource person for Aryasabha Mauritius on universal Vedic values, yoga and meditation, and on interfaith and intercultural dialogue at various national and international forums. The Mauritius Council of Religions, Arya Pratinidhi Sabha America, Greater Atlanta Vedic Temple, and Hindu Center of Atlanta Yoga and Meditation Center coming. He is author of numerous insightful articles on Vedic philosophy and contemporary issues in English and French. Acharya is delivering a lecture on uh, practical application of yoga in daily life. He has covered most of the part. Uh, we have reached to the last stage of samadhi, but Acharya will brush up with all the other initial portions also today and start with the samadhi. Over to Acharya.
Om Namaste, everybody. My voice is clear?
Yes.
That's okay. Let's go for Om Jap 3 times. Deep breathing, inhale and exhale. Sit down straight, keep the body relaxed, and close the eyes gently. When we are going to do Om Jap, just please focus on your own pronunciation, the sound of your pronunciation, and the sound waves, vibrations of your Om chanting. And feel the inner peace building up gradually from within. And the next we'll do mantra part. Deep inhale and exhale. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Join the palms together, rub them gently, transfer the energy to the eyes and open the eyes below the palms. And transfer the energy to the facial muscles, keeping a gentle smile which allows us just to keep the body relaxed, because most of the stress and the tension accumulates on the facial muscles, on the shoulders and around the neck. So a gentle smile relaxes all the facial muscles and keeps us in a joyful living mood. So welcome everybody to this practical applications of yoga in daily life. The yoga philosophy by Maharshi Patanjali. And the 8 steps of yoga are yama, niyama, asana, pranayam, pratyahara, dharana, dhyan, and samadhi. The two basics Yama and Niyama are the social and self-discipline, and it starts with Yama, Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya, Aparigraha. Ahimsa, non-violence. Satya, truth. Asteya, non-stealing. Brahmacharya, self-control, self-restraint. And aparigraha is non-accumulation of superfluous things as well as thoughts. Then we have niyama, Sauch, Santosh, Tapa, Swadhyay, Ishwar Pranidhana. Sauch, purity, and its purity of mind, body, and spirit. Santosh, be content. Tapa is enduring to some extent the hardships so that we can build our resilience to face adversity. Just like bearing some degree of hot and cold, heat and cold, some degree of thirst and hunger that enables us to build our endurance, our resilience, and that allows us also to increase our level of compassion. Just like when we have a bottle of water, we see someone thirsty asking us for some water, we can just give the bottle because we know we can buy another bottle somewhere. And if we find somebody hungry, we can probably give our lunch away because we know we've had breakfast in the morning and we'll be having dinner in the afternoon. So that increases our level of compassion. So Sauch, Santosh, Tapa, then Swadhyay. Swadhyay is we have to dedicate some time. I say we'll start with 10 minutes daily studying the scriptures. It can be the Upanishads, the Gita, the Ramayana, the Veda, things like that. Because that helps us to connect with our own inner self and make us better person in the sense that we'll be start to practicing spirituality as spiritual reality in daily life. Spirituality won't be only theoretical for us, it will be practical. And spirituality starts with yama niyama. Then Ishwar Pranidhan is surrender to the teachings of Ishwar God given to us in the Vedas, elaborated by the rishis in the Upanishads and Darshans, and unfolded by Maharishi Vedvyas in Gita. I'm talking about the original Gita, and then the original Ramayana by Maharishi Valmiki. So, Ishwar Pranidhan also includes compliance to the laws of nature, to the laws of the universe. Like in Shanti Path, when we pray Dyo Shanti, Prithvi Shanti, Antarik Shanti, we should remember that we have a duty, an obligation to react peacefully towards all the elements in the universe, be they living or non-living. Then and only then we can get peace from everywhere. Like if we reduce our pollution of the earth, the water, the space, the air, we'll live a happier life. There were simple examples. Then after that, yama, niyama, then comes asana. An asana for meditation or for learning, it says sthir sukham asanam. The bundle of exercises which we see in current yoga is good for health, but then to be able to sit down, especially for studies or for work and everything, we need to practice one asana over a long period of time where we can sit down comfortably. I would say it should be a minimum of 20 minutes, which is more or less the average time span of our concentration, our focus for everybody. The average is said to be about 20 minutes. Then pranayam, beyond the pranayam that we know like Anulom, Vilom, Kapalbhati, Vastika, this Maharshi Patanjali says the pranayam like Bahya and Abhyanta pranayam, retaining the breath outside as long as we can till we start feeling some discomfort. Then slow inhale and rapid exhale to retain the breath outside. It's also the reverse we can do. Breathe in gradually, slowly, retain the breath inside till we start feeling the discomfort, and then we start exhaling. Retaining the breath outside relieves our body by unlocking the various air pockets in our body, especially those who have joint pains and unknown pains, because pain in Ayurveda, physical pain, is the accumulation of air pockets within our body. It may be caused by other, as we say, underlying illnesses, but then when we release all those air pockets, we are going to release the toxins out of our body. And this is when we retain our breath outside, because the body still needs oxygen and it will look for where there are blockages and unlock those blockages. And when we are retaining the breath inside, it creates now the pressure, sending oxygen energy to every single part of the body. It does the reverse process. That's why beyond building enable us to build our focus to be more focused in whatever we do in life. It also relieves us from physical ailments. Then pratyahara is the introversion of the senses. What we are doing in the current world of consumption is just running outside and running outside. But then to be able to connect to the inner self, identify ourselves as real human beings, human in thoughts, human in words, and human in our physical actions. We need to give time to time and come to our inner self to realize that level. Otherwise, we'll just be chasing the outside world, and outside world cannot give us 100% satisfaction. So if we are able to run ourselves internally, drive the senses internally, we'll also be on a higher level of happiness, being content, santosh. After pratyahara, then comes dharana. Dharana is the point of focus. For the beginners, it's good. We are starting with, say, one lamp, diya, or any other source where we focus and trying to build our attention to one point. But gradually, slowly, we should come to ourselves. The best point of focus by Maharshi Patanjali, explained by Maharshi Patanjali, says the center of the eyebrows, the tip of the nose, the inhale and exhale process, and eventually that will come down to the Hridaya Akash, the sternum, the hollow space just where the ribs end, just above the diaphragm in our thorax. And this is the place where the Upanishad says the soul resides within our body, and then we can connect to the inner self. After that, then comes, after dharana comes dhyan. Dhyan is now starting on the path of meditation. Often we hear people saying that it's difficult for us to sit down in dhyan, but I would say it's not difficult. When we are watching movies, we are on computer, we are on our screens. We just, when we sit down, we're already connected to that. Just because we are focused there. But if we go on the other side, we just sit down and connect to the inner self. Realize we are the soul within this body. And without the soul, this body doesn't go anywhere. The soul instructing the mind, instructing the heart, the center of emotions, then and only then we can react by mental and emotional activities. And this engenders physical actions. So whatever we see in the common world, it's also to be, if we just learn them and apply them to the spiritual sciences, we can connect easily. For people who just think, when I'm before the TV, I just sit down and I'm focused there. So I can just sit down as well on a chair and start doing some deep inhale and exhale, focus on that, bring myself to dharana, and then dhyan just comes automatically. Then samadhi is absorption. Just as when we are reading a good book, we are just involved in that good book. We are watching a good film on TV, we're just absorbed there. Samadhi is absorption in dhyan. And Maharishi Patanjali describes yama, niyama, asana, pranayam, pratyahara, till there as the bahya. These are the external steps which brings us now to sanyama, the internal path of yoga, where we start now delving within ourselves. Dharana, dhyan, and samadhi. It says trayam ekatra sanyam. These three combined makes the all-round control of ourselves, brings the discipline, liberates us from the constraint, and build us within us better self-restraint. It also says Tajjayata prajya loka. When we reach that level of dharana, dhyan, and samadhi, that is, we are better focused on one point within ourselves, because it says driving the focus within ourselves enables us to be better connected. And when we are better connected to ourselves, it says from the mastering of those processes, dharana, dhyan, and samadhi, comes better wisdom. And wisdom is the intellectual faculty of the mind. Whatever we learn from outside just goes as when we've done some work, we save that on our computers, this goes in the files. But the software which enables us to do the processing, this is similar to the intellectual faculty of the brain, of the mind. And that intellectual faculty gives us better vision, better light, better insight. How? Is just when people say we can't connect to the inner self, we can't relate ourselves to Ishvara God, then when we start practicing dharana, dhyan, and samadhi, we come to the point where we realize we are the soul. Now we can start listening to the inner voice within us. And that inner voice is the divine guidance. When we are doing things in life, we can realize when we start listening to the inner voice, when things are really good, we are planning good things, we have the feeling of joy, elation, enthusiasm, drive, motivation to go ahead. And when things we are contemplating probably of doing something which is wrong, we have the inner voice or the divinity guiding us, saying that you need to put a break, review the strategies and everything. Because we have the feeling of fear, guilt, shame, and what we do generally when we do things wrong, we try to look for a place where nobody will catch us or see us. So this is the inner voice, the divine guidance. And if we go like that, in our relationships with the members of our family, with our friends, with our relatives, and the extended community, will always be a better human being because we'll abstain from things that are wrong and we'll do only the things that where we have the drive, the enthusiasm to move ahead. That's why I say, always give it there that the yoga philosophy is not something that just we have to sit down in meditation and everything, but small things brings us to be a better human being. Then it says, Tasya Bhumishu Viniyoga. Samadhi comes in various stages. The first one is, it says, Tadapi Bahirangam Nirbijasya. It comes to a point where when we are on our dharana, dhyan, and samadhi level, samadhi is the highest level, where now we've gone beyond the normal dharana and dhyan, we are totally absorbed. And at what point in time, the focus in our samadhi is only one subject. It may be the soul realizing the inner self, the potential of the inner self, or else it can be also prakriti, as we say, going down on the diffraction methodology. If we have, say, this watch, we can now just try to defragment. Plastic come from petroleum products, metal come from the ores within the earth, and now everything comes from planet Earth. Planet Earth itself, it starts with the five gross elements: earth, water, fire, space, and air. All these together form the whole of the universe. And now the elements of the universe comes from Sattva Rajtam, which is the base material called Prakriti. And everything after the lifetime of this universe will revert back to Prakriti. Just like when the soul leaves this body, the soul which says I, which enables me to identify myself, has left this body. What happens is friends and relatives come and reduces this body to ashes by the cremation. Fastest way. But then ultimately we go to that form. This body is gone back to earth, water, space, air, and fire. So it's like that. We go on the defragmentation process, we'll realize that everything at conscious matter, and matter starts with the base elements of Prakriti. And it goes in the same flow as science says, matter cannot be created or destroyed. So when we realize those things, we realize that these serves us till we are living in this body. And beyond that, what goes with us is the imprints of our karma, for which we've not yet reaped the results, the fruits of the positive karma, and we've not paid the penalties for the negative karma. These outstanding karmas go with us as sanskara, as imprints. Then we realize that we are our own builders of our destiny. We are the builders of our future birth, future lives. Because this is the only determining factor, the outstanding karma which God will use to allocate to us where we'll be born after this life. So realizing matter also is important, because then we also come to better accept life as it is. We have a lifespan. Surely sometime we'll have to leave everything here. Otherwise, we live with the concept, in spite of we learning about the death of a close friend, a close relative, nearly every day, or the death of unknown people every day, especially during these dire times of COVID. But still, we feel that we are eternal. We refuse to accept that we'll have to leave everything in this world. And this is where the ailments start. Because beyond what is needed to live life properly, we tend to overaccumulate, we tend to resort to hoarding. And this is parigraha. And yoga teaches us aparigraha, just keep what is essential for us to live. And at times we look at COVID, it's in some degree, to some degree, it's a blessing in disguise. The lockdown showed us we can reduce, we can trim our lifestyle and live on the essentials. We don't have to rush with the world as it is on consumption. We earn to live a happy life, a decent life. But beyond a certain degree, we are just immersed in materialism and we lose our identity as a human being. But then still we see very successful persons who now, after reaching a higher level of success, now connecting to spirituality. I will just give the example of Bill Gates. He knows very little probably of the yoga philosophy as it is, but these are people who go regularly to India for resourcing, and they go on high meditation courses, etc. This is from where they've got the idea of giving in charity, being compassionate to the whole world. But unfortunately, it's only a handful of these people who, after having more than what is required to live life decently, goes now with compassion, sharing with the needy. And this is the true humane aspect of life. Yoga philosophy doesn't tell you that you don't need to earn, you don't need to live decently. It says no, you earn, you up to a limit where we are happy in life. And beyond that, now we start giving to the world part of what we've been receiving. And this is compassion. And just imagine the multiplier effect. If that starts with me, I can inspire my relatives and friends to be compassionate like this. I think most of the issues of the world would have been resolved by itself. So when we are absorbed in that level of samadhi, we've realized ourselves, our soul, we've realized the use of matter, the importance of matter within our lives, and the limitations of that. Then the next point would be to connect to the Almighty Creator, Ishvara, God. And this is where, in the absorption stage, we come to the total restraint of the mind, Yogaschitta Vritti Nirodha. When we decide, we say, okay, we need to focus only on one issue, we can disconnect to other issues. And when we disconnect to other issues, our mental activities, emotional activities are focused in only one subject matter. It can be a subject matter of day-to-day life, where we need to sit down, think, contemplate to resolve issues. Or it can be the spiritual matters, or if we just want some time for ourselves to connect to ourselves and feel the inner peace. As we say, resourcing from our inner self. All these steps of yoga help us there. And it helps us to eliminate distractions in life in whatever we do. Whether it's cooking, whether it's cleaning, whether we're having a bath, or whether we are having food, it helps us to eliminate the distractions. It says, Vyutthan Nirodha Sanskaraya Abhiva Pradur Bhago Nirodha Sanachitta Vayo Nirodha Parinama. And that explains when the distracting attentions, impressions are overpowered, we can practice restraints, and that practice brings us to the transformation state where we know if we have to put the brake in whatever we do, we know how to apply the brake. And when we need to think out of the box, we go outside the problem and we can view it as an outsider and find the correct solutions and come back and apply that. That's where we see all those motivational speakers. They come with the basics of yoga philosophy, but often the references are not given. And if we go on that, I would suggest let's sit down and try to practice some dharana and some dhyan and some samadhi at the level of absorption. So let's sit down straight, close the eyes gently. Deep inhale and exhale and focus on our breathing exercise, the air moving in and out of the nostrils. And just feel that breathe in and breathe out, disconnected to everything around us. While chanting Om, just observe the sound waves, feel the vibrations. We'll do the rounds of Om. Now we are doing it vocal, then we'll do it only with the lips movement. Then we'll do the chant, silent chanting, but still yet we'll be able to feel the sounds of our silent chanting. When we are moving our lips, we can feel the sound, the silent sounds, but even when we are doing the silent chanting, we can feel the sounds of silence. This is where we start internalizing on dharana and move ahead in dhyan. Now just do the Upansha with the lips movement. I'll still do the chanting, but you do it only with the lips movement and feel the sound coming even with the lip movement. not just do the silent chanting, I'll still be guiding you with the chanting. Deep inhale and saying Om while exhaling, and exhaling, saying Om in silence. Join the palms together, rub them, and open the eyes just below the palms so that external light doesn't hit at us. So let's just have the reactions. How many of you have been able to connect with the silence, with the sounds of the silence, silent chanting? You can just unmute yourself and give me your feedback, please. So how was it connecting with the inner self with the sounds of silence?
Yes, it is very good.
So whenever we want to enjoy some inner peace, some movements of peace, it's just we go into that. And if we get the practice, we'll start enjoying the inner peace. What happens? Gradually, slowly, we'll build the time for us. For whatever we say, we don't have time in this rush world. When we start enjoying that peace, we can look for better ways of looking for some time, and that we can also do probably when we are working. We just want 1 minute of silence. We just take 1 minute and nobody will notice that around us. And we re-energize ourselves, become better performers, because once you get the moments of silence, you re-energize yourself, you can better involve yourself in the issues. So I just wish you good practice and connect with the inner self, connect, enjoy the moments of peace, and let that empower you, give you the enthusiasm to be a better person in whatever you do in life. Be it managing the household, be it nurturing the kids, being looking after your work, everything, it will help you. This yoga philosophy helps you in daily life. Vinaji, could you please unmute yourself and give us your reactions? Could you connect to yourself? And could you feel the inner peace driving while doing the chanting? Just unmute yourself so that we can have the reactions, the feedback, please. Okay, let's do a short practice of pranayama as taught by Maharishi Patanjali. I know probably if you've already had your dinner, just do it for a very short while, probably 20-30 seconds, not more than that. So to clear everything, just hold our hands up and bring it down fast. That helps us to clean our nostrils. Now, deep inhale and exhale rapidly, just normal with the hands down. And retain the breath outside for 20-30 seconds. And then slow, long inhale and exhale. Again, one practice of retaining the breath outside, deep inhale, fast, rapid exhale. Retain the breath outside for 20-30 seconds. Then slow, long inhale and exhale. The third round, deep inhale with a rapid exhale and retaining the breath outside for 20-30 seconds. Deep inhale and exhale. Now we'll do the reverse, retaining the breath inside. So long, slow inhale, retain the breath inside for about 20-30 seconds. Then exhale normally, slow, long exhale. We'll do it 3 times. This one we can do continuous because it doesn't need exertion for exhale. It's normal breathe in and breathe out. But when breathe in, just retain the breath for 20-30 seconds. Now normal breathing. So this is the pranayama which Maharishi Patanjali has taught us. It's good to do it, to practice it. Say it should be about 2 hours after having lunch, or drinks like milk and juice, because this goes to the digestive system. Because when we are breathing, inhaling and exhaling like this, it shifts the energy to the lungs. So if you've already had meal, then it disturbs the digestive system, the digestion of our food. So it's good to practice it 2 hours after meals and heavy drinks like juices. But if it's water, we can do it after 45 minutes or 1 hour, plain water. So when we do that, we can probably, you could have felt the disconnection with the external world. Because when you focus on your breath, it brings you to that pranayama. But at the same time, when you stop connecting to the whole world, outside world, you're driving inside, pratyahara comes by itself. And now since you're focused on your breath, dharana is there. And when you are absorbed within that process, this you start with glimpses of samadhi. So it's a totally connected process, not isolated or disconnected process. So just go on slight, short practices and take your time to enlarge the span of your practice. Be regular in that, feel the benefits of it, and live a better life. So we'll end this session of today here with one Om Jap. Thank you for your attention, everybody. And after the Om Jap, I will leave it to Dhananjay to give thanks and conclude. Deep inhale. Om. Dhananjay ji, for the conclusion, please.
Thank you everyone for joining today's session. As you all know, we have 3 main programs in a week. On Friday, we have the kids session where the kids learn the Sanatan Dharma simplified. They learn the mantras and their meaning. And on Saturday, we have weekly satsang from 10:30 a.m. to 12 o'clock. And on Sunday, we have this session, which we start from 9 o'clock to 9:45. That is practical application of yoga in daily life. So please do join us for all these sessions. See you on the Friday for the kids session at 9 o'clock. See you all then. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.